Yeah, and because this storm has had indications of producing a tornado, until the Weather Service can say with good enough confidence that a tornado is no longer occurring, they will not only let this tornado warning continue until 4:45 and may not extend it, but it's something that we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. There's also something to know about where this tornado is located because it's very far from the radar itself. The radar beam is hitting very high up in the sky, so the fact that we can see debris 15 to 20,000 feet above the ground is an indication that debris is that high in the sky. So that is how we know for sure that a tornado has occurred. To be able to see debris that far
that's a very
from the radar
unpopulated
beam
area,
and
so.
that high up in the sky.
Absolutely. Hey, McCall, if we could, since you're driving the radar over there, can we take a look at some of the other storms here around the area so we can just give folks a heads up that there are other storms that are out there that we're watching, and they're very close together in the northern portions of the Miami Valley. And originally,
where's the tornado place to us?
Service took samples of the atmosphere. They said that the northern portions, north of 70, has the greatest chance of seeing tornadoes, and this is where we would start seeing the storms. And sure, threat for flooding is there because each one of these storms is tapping into all of that moisture. You've been with us for a while.
Oh yeah, no, we're
There's
not.
a lot of moisture in the atmosphere.
Can't see where we are. Where are we?
And so these storms are tapping into all
So
that
like we
moisture,
would kind of be.
There's like something right here coming right toward us. It's a little tiny like thunder shower.
The flooding threat, the flash flooding threat, in places just to the east of Indiana state line, your Ohio state line. So northern portions of Darke County, southern portions of Mercer County, now moving into Shelby County, seeing some rain. Northern portions of Shelby County into western portions of
This isn't actually raining at 8.
towards New Bremen and Minster, seeing some heavy rainfall right about now, even into Versailles. Going to see some heavy rainfall probably within the next 10-15 minutes. So just a heads up, in places like Mercer County, Darke County, Auglaize County, Shelby County.
It expires 4:45.
Very heavy rain, some very
The tornado warning for this tornado. But if it
It's all
keeps
the way over
going, they're
there.
going to extend it.
Which is probably, it might go into there.
That's in southern Mercer
Very
County.
unlikely.
That's tornadically warm, where a tornado
No.
is on the ground and producing damage. And so this is what we're focused on now, but there are other storms that are out there that are following the same path that have the potential for very
Waffles.
gusty 60, 65, 70 mile an hour wind gusts, torrential downpours, and tornadoes as well. Geographical area.
Thank you,
as it
Dante.
could have. So just a heads up, seeing some very heavy rainfall. Also looking at Storm Tracker 7, which is traveling up, I don't know if the
Yeah, they're
traveling
southern. They're a
127.
little bit south of Greenville at this
Okay,
point.
so they're right there.
Okay.
So what they're seeing there
okay.
is all of the clouds, the gray clouds, and then they're also seeing that, the heavy rainfall that's in.
Wait a second.
You may be sitting.
Yeah, because it is
at
breezy.
70,
It was probably
75%.
calm. Then again, they said 10, 11. They said calming down. So
But these storms are going to be sinking southward as we go towards the afternoon and evening time. So don't let your guard down there.
And you guys made a very good point. You know, even though folks might not be under a tornado warning, these straight line winds. I'm trying to watch the trees right here, and that
Straight
can be,
line?
just as problematic for.
It doesn't look that windy,
You're
though.
Looking at winds of
Is he in that storm?
miles an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. And with these thunderstorms, when they're tapping
That's
into a
just
lot
all
of wind
together.
and
Wait,
atmosphere,
3.2.
and so you can have a tornado that's 65.
Oh, I kept
and
thinking,
that's a weaker tornado. But you can also
hail keep. I kept thinking that hail was hitting his windshield, but it was like wagging, glitching out.
And those are strong as far as straight line winds go. So both are going to do some damage. So you don't want to let your guard down just because you're not hearing us say you're under a tornado warning or there's a tornado around your area where, someone who has a
Okay, Dante, you don't have to try to scare us.
may see minor damage because the tornado may be moving kind of quickly or touch down and kind of move back up. But those who get straight line wind damage, 60, 75 mile an hour winds, they may actually see some incredible damage. So, you don't want to let your guard down and say, okay, just straight line wind threat. We've seen that around here. We've seen that in the past few years where straight line winds have caused some damage at Huber Heights and other communities as well. So these are one of those type of storms where the tornadic threat and straight line
What are
wind
those
threat
red
are
things?
pretty much equal. So just a heads up there. Don't let your guard down.
Up in Coldwater saying constant
That's
thunder,
weird.
heavy rain, no damage to see at this point. But again, that constant thunder thunder gives you a better perspective of that instability and that aggressiveness. In the
I'm pretty sure I heard it outside.
Particles there in the atmosphere, so there's some hail there. So when you
Oh wait, where would the storm? Where would we? Which way would we have to look to see it?
That gives us a
Out there?
It's gonna be like over here, coming this way.
Oh, so it's gonna be over. It looks light over there. It's getting weaker.
Time, we can see those deeper greens and reds that were being indicated on radar, but as we continued on in time, it looks to be more broad, so that could be some promising news for us. Also, not seeing that clear indication of debris from this storm as it's been coming through. All of that being said, the Weather Service is going to continue this tornado warning until 4:45. Right now, it's 4:36. So still, if you live in North Star, Osgood, just heads up to you because the rotating part of the storm was just back to your west. It is still moving through north of
Why would
that
that guy do
between
that?
Osgood and Chickasaw.
What are we gonna do with the
where
trash
the
cans?
hail potential
Already
is
put 'em up against
with
the side
this
and
storm
garage.
of a tornado, but not necessarily a tornado warning. Now, the entire Miami Valley is under a tornado watch that was issued by the Storm Prediction Center of County and Northern Dark County. Now, Coldwater, Fort Recovery, Noble, you are all in the clear now from that tornado warned storm.
That
If
was
you
going pretty
are in
fast.
your safe spot and you're hearing the sound of my voice, whether it's here on Channel 7 or on AM 1290, 95.7 WHIO, you're free and clear to go ahead and come out of your safe place. But if you do have damage, if you do notice that you have damage to your home, if you have damage to your neighborhood, call the emergency personnel. Do not start walking around to try and assess the damage because you may not know where perhaps power lines are down or that you might be walking into a dangerous situation. So at this point, Fort Recovery, Coldwater, Salina, Noble, you are in the clear. If you are in North Star, Osgood, Chickasaw, any of those areas out toward New Bremen, Minster, and Fort Loramie, I would say make sure that you are inside your home, the most center point of your home, and if you're in that tornado warned part of this polygon, just be in that safe place, that safe spot until this tornado warning is expired, canceled, or we let you know that the all clear has been given.
Hey, McCall, quick question for you, and not to put you on the spot here, but I just want to show off kind of some of the information that you learned about a year or so ago.
The weather that's happening around you, not necessarily needing to panic. I know that a lot of us are still feeling the impacts from what happened a couple of years ago. Certainly just need to compose yourself, get to your safe place. Dante and I will continue to walk you through these storms as they come in and let you know exactly where these tornadoes are, thunderstorms are located, and whether or not you are in the path of danger with potentially tornadic activity. Still getting a tornado warning to continue for southern Mercer County and northeastern Dark County. Go ahead.
Yeah, McCall, I didn't want to cut you off here.
Nope,
I just
that's
wanted
really
to, so there's this page on Facebook here that says Ohio's Extreme Storm Chasers. And what they've showed us is a picture here that says, we just received the first pictures of the large confirmed tornado on the ground from team members near Fort Recovery, Ohio. Photo from Adam Benner and Caleb Fogel.
Okay.
And so it looks like here, it looks like Stuart, if you want to, you can come out to James and I here at the wall.
So I was in
and show you
F1.
pictures of this, and
We'll see.
I see a lowering cloud base, and I do see it looks like there are some debris clouds, not debris from a tornado, but debris clouds that are just kind of hanging low. But there's a possible chance that this is a tornado that looks like in a big open field here near Fort Recovery. And so our control room is telling me that the newsroom is also looking at some of these pictures and kind of getting them turned around so maybe we can
I'm going to step up the camera here, and what I'm going to do, Stuart, I'll let you continue to talk. And Stuart, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to zoom in here, and I know this is really old school television, but what I'm thinking maybe is if we could use camera, what is this, camera 3 right here, maybe zoom in and maybe be able to show folks what we're seeing from the storm chaser. I know it's archaic, but this is the way we're going to do it.
And that's fine, James. I'm getting reports from the Weather Service that 2 miles northwest of Fort Recovery, Fire Department and Rescue confirming that there was a tornado. So I'm sure that there is damage. I'm going to go ahead and just read this directly to you. Emergency managers have a report from local fire department of confirmed tornado northwest of Fort Recovery. at Park Road and State Line Road. Tornado debris signature was also observed on radar, and there have been multiple reports of damage to structures in the Fort Recovery area. So it's very likely that that image that's in the lower left-hand corner,
I see a little
if we
bit.
could go ahead and
We
take it
can
full
take that large.
screen,
Yeah, Stuart, we can take that large.
that is, yeah, that
It's not a full one.
Tornado.
Right there, guys.
occurring.
It's not a full one, is it?
This area of Mercer County, you can see, is clearly an area where there's not a lot of homes around there, but there have been reports of structural damage. So again, we're getting more and more information from the Weather Service and the emergency managers up that way. We are sending Michael Gordon into Mercer County, headed toward this damage. So if Michael can hear us, I don't know if he has this programming in his ear. It is located on the area of Park Road and State Line Road. So that would be the location that you would want to head to see this debris damage that was caused by this tornado. And I would say that that is accurate, that that is a photo of the tornado in the Fort Recovery area from earlier on this afternoon. Right now it's 4:45.
So you see the farm field, looks as though they might have corn planted there, but again, you guys are the scientists, so we see this, and then you can see, obviously,
Right.
you know, we are on the ground right there.
Yeah, that is, if you look at the clouds around there, you see the low-hanging clouds, the precipitation, and right there you can see that larger dip, and I don't know if I'm on the screen or not. You can see that larger dip coming in from the cloud base.
Right there,
Right
Dante?
there. Yep.
Yeah.
And then you see that wider touching the ground area. That is more than right.
Down there.
So that's the cloud, and then maybe some debris. And sometimes what we look at is we look at the landscape, and if the landscape is a particular color,
don't do
you kind
that.
of see that in the sky and in the cloud. You can see there's some debris there. So it looks like right there that is more than likely the cloud. So that's the air and the cloud that you see in the rotation. So more, as McCall mentioned, more than likely that is what we've seen from Live Doppler 7, that there is some debris that has been wafted into the air there. So.
Yeah, and I just went ahead and I backed up the correlation coefficient and the debris tracker in time. This goes back to 4:15, and this is where we were seeing indications of debris, which is exactly where the Weather Service said that the confirmed debris. This is along State Route 49 near Park Road and State Route right near Fort Recovery. So
Yep.
that makes sense that that's where the location.
We have another picture if Control wants to pull that up, so Dante and McCall can take a look at
Oh,
it.
well, there you go. That's that's textbook right there. That's textbook. And you said, where was this, Alex? Where's this taken at? Do you remember?
Alex. Why are people calling
Okay,
people
this
Alex
one's
and
in Noble,
Stewart?
Indiana, which again makes sense.
I thought their name was
That's
James
where-
and
Another one
Dante.
there, yep, looks like
Maybe it's
that one
Stuart
too, as
Dante
well. So
Jones.
we're seeing all sorts
Stuart
of
Dante Jones.
confirmed pictures. Yeah, these are all textbooks right here. When you study tornadoes and you kind of look at some of those starting off, that one right there looks like it's just stuff.
Fort Douglas County, so any areas
No more
that are in
warning.
a safe spot, including Coldwater, down to Versailles, New Bremen, Minster. If you were taking shelter, you can go ahead and resume what you were doing before the warning was issued. Just be on the lookout that we still have some thunderstorms that are in the area, and these thunderstorms still have the ability to produce a damaging straight line wind gusts, locally heavy rain, and hail, along with that tornado threat. We already have seen along with the hail. So we're just going to go ahead and throw on our velocity scan so that you can see that we do not have any rotational factors with these storms. We just got a new severe thunderstorm warning, which we'll talk about in a second, but no more rotating storms, but the potential for damaging winds still exists. I'll throw on our hail tracker, and you can see where the pink is indicating came right through Coldwater, and this storm that's entering Randolph County is where that.
See, now this is heading south.
Is.
Let's
Now I'll
have
go
a
ahead and throw
hail
this back on.
That's probably not going to hit us, but this may hit us.
What is that?
This,
a severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay.
As I pull up some information for you, this is exactly what I expected. To
Where-
happen.
where-
This
where are
severe
we again?
thunderstorm warning. Okay, I'm going to
Same,
go over,
they're literally
head over
saying
to
the
the
exact
wall
same
for you
thing.
so you can have a little look at this as we get Dante a little bit of a break and
You mean
taking and
Stuart?
catching his breath. So here's North Starry of Osgood. Fort Laramie, you're just outside of this severe thunderstorm warning, but you are dealing with some locally heavy rain and some
How would they be, like, some people, the people that live there, how would they be out of it? Because that is going to come to them.
Intense thunderstorm
How?
that's overhead. frequent cloud to ground lightning. These storms have had them all day long. If you live in Russia, back to Versailles and North Star, you are in this severe thunderstorm warning. Again, as it's moving to the east-southeast at 30 miles per hour.
5:15. Why are they lasting
This
for
is
like
the same storm
10
that
minutes?
just came out of Mercer County that
5:15,
had the tornado warning
4:51.
on it. So there are still indications that this storm is intense. There are still indications that the environment ahead of this storm have a component, a shear component.
It looks like they're only talking about this.
Changing with height.
That's probably the bad. That's the bad part,
May
I
once again
think.
wrap back up, and we might be dealing with a tornadic threat once again. So if you live in Versailles, down to Russia, Lockington, Covington, and Piqua, you're right there on the far fringe of this severe thunderstorm warning. Dante putting a track on the most intense part of the storm, which right now is located just south of Osgood. And you can see a storm track puts it into Russia at 5:01. That's about 10 minutes from now. This is a very slow-moving storm. It's moving at 30 miles per hour. Covington.
This doesn't make any sense to me. How is it going that slow with 70 miles per hour wind? How? That's literally not
The
possible.
storm drifting to the east-southeast. And I say drifting because it is slow moving. It is tapping into an environment that has a lot of moisture. So flash flooding threat is also not something to kind of like bat your eyes at, because a flash flooding potential is going to be a serious situation as we're getting
Yeah,
some
no, it's
rainfall
not.
rates
That's
there.
better, yeah.
5.6 inches or 5.5 inches per hour. That's your rainfall rate. Meaning if
Shouldn't
this
take an hour to go
stayed
through
over
those.
Osgood for 60 minutes, 5 inches of rain is possible. Cut that in half. We're talking 2.5 inches in 30 minutes, because that's how slow this storm is moving. That's a possibility, and why there
So
might
you're
be
gonna
some
have
flash
that severe
flooding.
storm for
I
30
believe we have
minutes.
some video according to our producer Alex from Burkittsville, and so we're going to get that up on camera for you in just a moment here. And it looks as though there is a lowering there of that storm cloud, and perhaps that tornado
That
being
looks
caught
like,
on
yeah,
camera.
that looks like that
Right
is
in the
that
center of your
tornado.
screen.
Oh, wait a second.
The power of
I think all the
you know,
storms are
video
weakening a little
cameras
bit.
now. Every phone has one. If you're far away
Hope.
enough, looks like they're far enough away from the storm at this point that they can take that safely. But you certainly want to know the
Yeah, you
direction
definitely
of
tell us in
storm,
the past
direction
they're
of your
pausing
boat,
it.
so that you don't get caught up next to it. That's why we say you want a trained spotter or someone who's used to storm chasing and tornado chasing to kind of take these so they'll orient themselves as to where the storm is moving, the direction and the speed, and where you are. So it looks like we've gotten some video right here of that tornado. It'll be interesting to see
Whoa, whoa,
once
whoa.
the National Weather Service gets out
4?
there, probably tomorrow.
Can you go through that?
No.
It's probably going to be tornado warning, tornado watch,
Tornado watch, severe thunderstorm, severe thunderstorm.
or I thought it was flash flood.
Looks like at this point in time, well, at least the environment does not call for long track, large, damaging EF3, 4, 5 tornadoes.
So it's not calling for that?
As McCall mentioned, I mean, it just takes, one family, one house, 2 houses to see some damage, and that's certainly enough. So looks like James is showing us another
Might be a
picture.
better option, Stuart.
So they just said these tornadoes are not going to be the EF3s, 4s, and 5s that we
pretty
saw
sure-
on Memorial Day.
I'm pretty
They're
sure
going to
that-
be
yeah.
maybe EF1.
Of course, we'll be able to get it up on air for you, or try to at least, to show what it looks like now since
Similar to the video that we just showed you a few minutes ago, where
Let me pull up another one here, Stuart.
They still have
was
it.
behind at least
Tornado
those houses.
Yeah, it says tornado warning. I don't
They haven't
think
taken
it's.
it down yet.
I don't think it's on.
This storm no longer is tornado warned, so the at least the
still have it up.
tightly packed rotation has dissipated, and just that picture right there is another picture where you see that lowering cloud base, and so that's what we want to see. The tornado's not going to form, a mile and 2 miles up. It's just too far away for the tornado to form, but you'll see the lowering cloud base there, so it can connect with the ground. It looks like you see right there on the ground, looks like a fuzziness right there. So it looks like the wind has made contact with the ground. So that's a little more of a confirmation that that is a tornado. What you're seeing on the picture. And if you look around you, don't
So that
see
wasn't really
you
considered a
don't
big
see
one.
that
That was probably F1.
the wind or
Right, I
precipitation.
didn't know because all I saw was it said large tornado, and I was
Those are all things that you
getting
can look at.
concerned. It was
Because
like
you
the
didn't know where
Memorial Day tornado, but it's not.
Like thick. Like it was a thick boy.
You see a big larger area where you see connection with the ground. If they were
Oh my- I mean,
if you
like-
were snapping here, these severe thunderstorm warnings around North Star, Osgood, Rossburg.
Why does it have, like, a squared off?
'Cause there's two.
Minster, seen some.
Why don't they just do
down
one?
towards Versailles and Russian. You're gonna start seeing that after a while as well. Chief Meteorologist Carl Brydax over there at the Chroma Key, the technical name for the green screen, and she's also pointing out some areas and talking about some impacts.
Yeah, so this warning goes until 5:15, and the most intense
Even
part of
that
the storm
one?
is just to the northwest
Or that
of
one?
Rushi. So if you are living in the Rushi area, just be prepared that some winds in excess of 60 miles per hour may be blowing through.
They're
in
getting
just a few
blasted.
minutes or so.
Tornado
Also,
and then-
the possibility of that larger sized damaging hail associated with this storm. Very heavy rain is falling from anywhere from Minster to just north of Rushi. This purple shading is what we call our Barron button. It is a button that shows us the most intense part of our storm. And when you get the purple shading, when you look at the indicator there, we're talking about hail.
Yeah, well, that's
And
probably not going to hit
radar
us
is
right there.
indicating at least half-inch diameter sized hail. That is large enough that it could create a little bit of some damage, but it appears the greatest risk at this point in time may be those damaging wind gusts. Once you get diameter hail of an inch or
There's nothing. You don't see anything.
and now what Dante is pulling up, the rainfall and flooding potential. These are rainfall rates
don't know what to think about
indicated by
that.
radar that there's a possibility of more than 7 inches of rain that could fall in one particular area if that storm stayed overhead for 60 minutes. These storms are moving at about 30 miles per hour, so you
Where's
can
Mom's
cut that
work?
in half. And there is the possibility that 2 to 3 inches of rain have those storms that
Congeal?
are out by
Yeah.
themselves. That's when we need to worry about a tornadic potential. Now that we're seeing a little bit more of a uniform line, which we were expecting to happen, a straight line wind potential is probably going to start to take over here. If you're in Auglaize County, necessarily see indications that storms will redevelop in your area once this line has moved through. But what I was seeing leading into this afternoon and evening was as these storms were steadily going to push south, we're going to have an axis point of a line of storms that may train over one another, and that flash flooding threat really is going to ramp up. We have a flash flood watch for anywhere along Interstate 70 and south that begins at 6 o'clock this evening.
So this looks like we're gonna get hit with some of this.
We will transition
But-
to
What are you talking about?
wind
What?
threat
What
and
part?
that flash flooding threat
That-
very
I don't know what part.
right now.
What-
We have been kind of by itself. It's
Yeah.
kind of all alone. You have very heavy rain, likely some hail that's falling there, but just watching this appendage and how winds might possibly try to rotate right there on the tail end of the storm. But again, you have this very heavy rain.
That's literally
and
where
the wind
that might hit
potential with that
us.
severe thunderstorm.
Right where the
It's
tornado is.
Far enough away that
for north
could
and
happen.
north of Dark
But here's the
County,
thing.
now
Wouldn't you
into
rather be
Miami
closer?
County,
Because
which
farther away
includes
has
the city of
time
Piqua,
to
Rushi,
turn into a
Lockton as
tornado.
well, with the storm drifting very slowly to the east-southeast. And then even further east, still some very locally heavy rain, perhaps not the damaging wind gust threat at this point in time, or the hail threat for the moment. But if you live near DeGraff or Quincy, you're going to see a very heavy downpour moving in, and even back into the Sydney area up to Port Jefferson, very heavy rain. Likely you're hearing extreme thunder with these storms. Also to note, because it is 5 o'clock in the afternoon, travel time from Anna to Dayton, just know that Interstate 75, it is going to be a difficult drive for you. We will have the visibility that's going to drop down probably to 0 at times.
Oh, yeah.
So if
What does that mean? You
if
can't
have
see
to head
anything?
that
Can't see
way,
anything.
I
You
would
have to pull off.
encourage you
Because of the rain?
to take it very, very slowly as this storm is going to be moving through. I would normally say they're in just about 10 minutes or so. So we're going to be checking in with them as soon as they get there and get their equipment up so that we can get a live shot of perhaps the damage that has been left behind.
Real quick, McCall.
Go
So
ahead.
you say Fort Recovery. This was sent to me by Gregory in Fort Recovery. Little difficult to make out, but again, we got a tornado on the ground there,
Yep.
off in the distance. Hard to tell how
Wait,
far it
today,
is
right now?
behind
no,
that
that's
house.
old.
But
That's
again,
that's
as you-
the that was that
this
one.
severe weather and this tornado warning and the confirmation of tornadoes on the ground. We
And
have seen
control,
now
were we able to
at
take
least a half
that
a
full
dozen
screen,
pictures.
by the way?
Yeah, there you
that's
go.
good. Wow.
Let me zoom out here. So
That is a big
gives
one.
you a little
That's the same
better
one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
It's the same one.
that's-
It was one
that's
tornado.
Scary, right?
You know what I also think is important to note about this photo in general is because these storms have. Okay, we're going to get to a phone call in just a second, but I just want to make this final point that these storms have very heavy rain with them. So that tornado that you saw in that image, it was kind of hard for you
Right,
to see. So
right.
when there's a tornado warning,
Yeah.
you need to get to your safe spot and not try to go out and see it, because you may not even know it's there.
Debris
until
could
it hits
fly at you.
Just real quickly, that photo was taken a little further away from the storm,
Yeah.
so they could kind of see that. But if you're right there, if you're driving in the middle, you have no idea that's right there.
Yeah, you might think it's just a really heavy downpour
Right.
within that storm, and
Exactly.
no idea that you're driving right into a tornado. Go ahead, James.
Let me do this real quick. We have on the line Mercer County Sheriff Jeff Gray. Sheriff, thanks for taking your time.
It is
this
raining
afternoon.
outside.
Oh, it is?
It's just sprinkling.
The better part of an hour. Can you give
They're heavy, actually. It's like heavy
what
raindrops.
you're hearing from sheriff's deputies, EMS out
Is that the big one?
information that we've seen so many pictures of tornadoes on the ground in
Everything
your
is
county?
secure out there, so we did what we could do.
Wait, is that the big one? Or is this just like a shower?
No, this is just a pop-up. This just had like a pop-up little shower. This is not it.
Fire
No.
departments were out checking on those. So far, we're not aware of any injuries. We have had a couple of calls of smoke from buildings where fire departments have went and checked, but
Flag
I'm
blown
not
away.
aware at this point
Get my flag back.
of any active fires. We would ask everybody in Mercer County, though, please don't call in the dispatch unless you have an emergency. Our dispatch center is getting overrun with calls right now. We're aware that power is out several places throughout the county, and calling in here is not going to get their power back on any faster.
And Sheriff, you're a smaller county out there, but you've got a lot of square miles to cover. Can you tell us where is this damage? What part of the county, sir?
Most of the damage, I believe, is down by Fort Recovery, so it would be in the southwest part, the south central part of Mercer County.
Okay, so I don't know if you're watching this there from where you are, Sheriff, but we have Storm Tracker 7 that is just coming into Fort Recovery right now.
What in the? Who did this?
Some spots of blue sky, but again, your
I'm not.
concerns moving forward,
Number one priority right now is checking the areas where there was damage and checking the homes and things. And
In this area where he is, where is this
for
guy?
anybody who may
It's
have
in
gotten
Mercer
in.
County.
Is that close to
I'm
us?
not aware of
No,
any
that's where the
injuries
tornado was.
right now,
Oh,
but that's
I am.
watching us on the internet or watching us on WHIO.com or listening to us on radio. Sheriff, these folks, as McCall's done a great job saying, they got to be really careful. And then, the storm might have passed, but there could be down lines and so forth, and that only makes everyone's job that much more dangerous and difficult.
Right, exactly. And I know I think it is Fort Recovery Fire Department right now is out at a house that looks like it was hit by the tornado, and it has power lines down, and I'm sure there's power lines down across. To know that all the responders are out, the fire and EMS and law enforcement are out. We're all working well together to try to make sure that we get through this.
You bet. Sheriff, please be safe. All the best to your deputies and emergency personnel up that way. Please keep us posted as well as to what you folks are seeing in the next hour, 2 hours, and even into the overnight. We appreciate your time, Sheriff. Be safe.
Okay, thank you.
And again, McCall, you hit it right on the head earlier about power lines down.
Yeah, Dark County, this tornado, or not tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warning, indications of potentially hail that is damaging up to an inch in diameter or larger, and
Like
the
we thought.
possibility of winds in excess of 60 miles per
we
hour.
thought.
These storms are moving very slowly, and that's something that we've noticed all afternoon long. So
We'll probably be here by like
rates that are
7.
upwards of 6 to 7
5.
inches per hour is going to lead to that possibility.
They
of
said it will be
some
here at
flash
8.
flooding. As we head
They have
further to
so
the
much
east,
time to
there's
die
another
down.
severe thunderstorm warning for a storm that had a history of producing a tornado. This is the same storm that came through southern Mercer County
want scrambled
that
eggs?
has been confirmed
Yeah.
to have created a
No,
tornado
I'm gonna-
and
you
damage.
don't
And
want-
rotate a little bit, but not tight enough that I'm seeing an indication of a tornadic activity. But if you live in the Russia area, I will say that you should just go ahead and take the proper precautions to make sure. Positive news, but certainly not something to take lightly. We put onto our hail tracker, and if we zoom out a little bit more, it will give us an indication that these storms have had a history of producing hail. That's where you see those pink.
The one that might hit us has a lot of hail, which we prepare for. So,
We'll see what happens here.
because we're not 100% sure.
To be a little bit of a donut hole there near Russia. This is where this storm is trying to tighten up, and where we did see that indication of rotation. I'm going to go ahead and put the 4 panel back on. This is a new tool that we have that we just got only a few months ago, which is, I think, fantastic to look at when you're tracking the potential of tornadic activity, because you can put all types of severe weather on here. Can we go up and take the green screen, because I want to point some of this out for you. And I'm going to head over to the camera there. When you're just looking at radar, it might look like a big glob of yellow and red. One indication that there is some rotation is when you start to get a little bit of this donut hole. Very concerned right here with this hook that looks to be developing right near Russia. In that same area, using that city name as a guide, you can go over here and you can see that there is a couplet there where we have the reds and the greens. Red indicating winds going away from the radar, green toward. So there is some rotation, intense winds blowing in a certain area. This is actually correlating with this rotation, so it is a rotational shear that we're watching. But as we get over to this panel, this is our degree signature. Right now, we're generally uniform colors.
Is this going to hit us?
If you want, Dante.
Another tornado warning.